Have you ever been the victim of a robbery? If you have, you know that it can leave you feeling very rattled and exposed, to say the least. It may be that somebody has physically entered into your residence or place of business and taken things. Or it could be in this day and age that, let's say, your credit card has been taken from you and somebody's been charging items against your account and you had no idea what was going on, or maybe you've been hacked into. Whatever the case may be, robbers are prowlers and they're looking for your place of vulnerability. And as they find where you're vulnerable, they'll go in and then make use of their conniving schemes to get whatever it is they want. Now, I want to take that analogy of robbery and bring it into the psychological realm. Narcissists are robbers. Now, let's keep in mind, they're looking to you to be their supply. They have a need to feel superior. They have the need to always be right, to be better than. And so what they do is they rob you of your sense of stability. They rob you of your decency and your goodness. And when they can get you to the place where you are acting in an unstable way, or if you're acting in an unruly kind of fashion, then that allows them to come around and say, yeah, see how much better I am than you? And you hardly even know the name of the game because it can be played in such an ongoing kind of a fashion. But in doing so, they're trying to gain from you their ego needs to keep them propped up. Now, let's keep in mind that this can sometimes be very calculated. Other times it's just subconscious. Any way you look at it, that's the way narcissists think as they engage with you. They're highly controlling. They've got an agenda, and they want to make sure that you do according to their bidding so that they can then go away feeling like they've been empowered by your presence in their life. They're very entitled. They want to be special. They have to be special. They have to know that they're the best in the crowd. And so if they can steal your goodness from you so that they can say, yeah, I am a lot better, then that's what they'll do. And then in addition, frankly, they're very needy. It's like they've got to be the top person. It's like, no, I must be a somebody. And so if they can take your somebody-ness from you and then put it into their personal collection, so to speak, then that's part of their game. So I've picked up on 6 different ways that you can become vulnerable to the narcissist and they can prey upon your sense of goodness. And as you're aware of these vulnerabilities, I'm hoping that you can determine to close that vulnerability and close that avenue for them to come in and rob you of your own self. Now, the first thing I'm going to mention, and this may seem a little different for you to think of it this way, but it may be that you're a logical person. You think, well, my logic is one of my vulnerabilities. Now, see, let's keep in mind that if the narcissist senses that you like to have things right and you want to do things according to a very fixed kind of code, they're going to come in there and they're going to step all over it. Now, in doing so, let's go in mind, they're trying to rob you of your emotional stability. So if they say things like, you don't know what you're talking about, or where did you come up with an idea like that? They're whittling away at your sense of resolve. And then in doing so, when you then give this wild or this unstable or insecure kind of emotional reaction, then they've won. They've taken your sense of well-being from you, and then in doing so, they elevate themselves at your expense. So the more you have to have logic in your world, you have to have everything lined up exactly the way that you think is proper, then they go in and they start messing with you and your mind and your emotional well-being. Or a second thing that makes you vulnerable to their game playing and their robbery is your need for respect. Now, we all like to be respected. In fact, that's one of the things I talk about quite a bit on this channel. And it's not a wrong thing to say, but when you have such a need to be respected that you begin thinking, I can't believe that you're being disrespectful to me. I can't believe that you would belittle me so easily. They're thinking, good, I've got my inroad there. And so in showing you disregard and disrespect, they rob you again of your stability. And in doing so, they elevate themselves and they feel good. They've taken from you that sense of respect, and then it makes them think like, yeah, look at how pitiable you're acting over there. Or a third thing, and this is more of a physical element that causes you to be vulnerable to a narcissist preying upon you, is it might be that you are in a financially compromised kind of position with them. It may be that this person has given you money and then they expect things in return, or it may be that you are in a family situation where you've let go of some of your career kind of aspirations so that you can go along with them, or it just may be that you don't have a whole lot and they've tried to help you out. But the more financially vulnerable you are, then the more they can think, okay, I'm going to come in here and I'm either going to buy you off and make you have to live according to my preferences, or I'm just going to just let you know how sorry of a human being you are because you don't have the same kind of money as me. But in doing so, when you have that sense of inadequacy that goes along with that, then that allows them again to elevate themselves at your expense. Or a fourth vulnerability that you might have is it could be that you lack consistent boundaries. It may be that you know what you believe and you know how you'd like for life to unfold, but then you don't follow through very well. And then when they just keep pushing your boundaries and trying to make you act in ways that you don't want to act, or they try to force you to behave in ways that you don't want to be, then that's their way of saying, hey, look, with your poor boundaries, I'm eventually going to make you look like a fool. And then that way I get to be the superior one here. Or a fifth vulnerability that you might have, and that is it could be that person, that robbery, that thief, narcissist knows that your reputation is very important to you. So it's like, okay, well, what I'll do is I'll start saying really bad things about you to other individuals. I'll smear you, I'll criticize you, I'll say really bad things about you, I'll take some of the negatives that I may know about you and exaggerate them greatly. And when you have that sense that says, no, you can't do that to me, it's like, okay, so what are we going to do to make me feel better because of that need of yours? And so the more you have this need to have your reputation perfectly untarnished, they see that as a vulnerability. Or then how about a sixth vulnerability that you may have? And that is you may have an aversion to conflict. Knowing that you don't like to argue and knowing that you will collapse pretty quickly, sometimes they'll just kind of go into an argumentative mode. And then finally you just think, okay, I'll do whatever you need me to do. Just be quiet, go away. Quit making so much noise over there. And again, your aversion to conflict can allow them to come in with all this high controlled and entitled kind of mindset that they operate with. So what are they trying to rob you of? They're trying to rob you of your sense of security. They're trying to rob you of your emotional steadiness. They're trying to rob you of your internal self-respect. And through these kinds of means that they look at, then they may be able to think, okay, that's how I'm going to gain dominance over you. So knowing this, I wonder if you can think, how am I going to respond when I see what they're doing? I understand what their game is now. The first thing I want to encourage is when you recognize they're trying to rob you of all of these things, don't take it personal. You may think, well, it is me on the stage there, and it does feel rather like it's a personal vendetta against me. Well, let's keep in mind whether it's you or anyone else, whoever is in the role that you happen to be in that person's life, they're going to be that way anyway. It's not about you per se. I mean, yes, it's happening to you, but this is a reflection of who they are. It's not a referendum about who you are. And so the more you can not take it personally, I guess I'm saying, make sure you maintain your sense of objectivity, realizing that's just their game, and I don't feel the need to play their game. Now, having said that, then it's incumbent upon you to make sure that you have your own sense of security and self-respect and dignity well established on the inside of you, so that as they come in and try to take that from you, you're not going to be complicit. You're not going to say, oh, here's my self-respect, or here's my emotional stability, I'll let you be in charge of it. No. You want to make sure that you have those kind of ingredients well established on the inside of you, and their proclamations are not going to be the determinants as to whether you're a good person from the inside out. Don't let them be the ones who determines if you're going to be okay. Separate yourself from their proclamations. And then in addition to that, one of the things that you can do as they attempt to rob you of you is don't press your agenda. Don't try to make them see the light. Rather than saying, do you realize how inappropriate all this is that you're doing? They're not going to say, yeah, I guess I am. They're going to just flip it around and turn it on you. It's like, no, if there's anyone in this equation that's inappropriate, it's you. And so drop your illusion that you can push your agenda on them and you can make them be the better person, because that's just the way they operate. That's how they live life. So let's recognize that your internal calm firmness, your internal steadiness is going to be the thing that closes your vulnerability to a narcissist's attempt to gain dominance over you and to rob you of being you. Now, you're not going to have a close relationship with this kind of person, and you're not going to be able to gain a whole lot of gratification from this individual who's just kind of looking for the ways to get inside of you so that they can dominate you. And so you may have to just realize this is going to be a very limited relationship. But if you can see that they take some of the things in you that are normal and good, and they use that as a vulnerability to get you to be a disrupted kind of a person, they have won the game. So close those vulnerabilities by having that internal sense that says, I'm a decent individual, and if you're going to try to get your supply, you're going to have to look elsewhere. The store is closed here. My windows are closed. I'm not letting you in. I do hope that videos such as this will provoke some good thinking on the inside of you and you find them to be useful. If you've not already done so, I would invite you to hit that subscribe button beneath the video here, and we'll keep you apprised of more videos that come along. We have a new website, survivingnarcissism.tv, and on there we have more videos and articles and quizzes and things of that nature. And so I would encourage you to do that. And we have an email list on the front page, kind of toward the bottom, if you want to join our email list there as well. If you have need for online counseling, and online is where so many people like to go, we have a link for that. And it might be that you would find somebody that could help you. There are licensed professionals who can help you sift out some of the issues you might be dealing with. In addition, we have links to my books, my online video workshops, and we even have coffee mugs. Just know that the stronger you are from the inside out, the less vulnerable you're going to be when you have that preying narcissist coming along, and don't let them steal you from you. All of that said, I wish for you calm steadiness.